Okay, everybody, it is me, Gregory Mannarino, and I had to sit through something that I don't think anyone should have to do, and that was listening to Fed Chair Jay Powell spew stuff out of his mouth. Well, we're going to cover all that, and it's just lovely. Let's hope I don't blow my stack off. So here we are, you and me. Status post Fed Day this Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. People, before we even talk about the Fed and Powell, well, let's just say this. Today, a very nice rally on Wall Street. Stocks higher, all the major indices, everyone's happy and gleeful. It all started when apparently, and no surprise to you if you follow this blog, this whole Evergrande thing, like I said, from the get-go, was going to be zero, a non-event. Well, on the news that they are, in fact, restructuring their debt. They have reached some kind of an agreement with their debtors. The market's loving that, and we got the People's Bank of China pumping billions, tens of billions into the financial system. So it's kind of a backdoor bailout. At the same time, Evergrande is doing what I said they would most likely do, restructures their debt in one way or the other. And guess what? The market loves that, loves it. Of course, look. You can't make any of this stuff up. Debt, that's how the system works. And it's going to continue moving that way. And that plays into some of the stuff we need to talk about. So again, a rally here on Wall Street. Now, I want to talk about some economic news that we got today because it's just lovely. And some news from the European Central Bank. And I really want to focus on that for a moment. So we found out, to my shock, not really, that existing home sales fall. Now, what's going on here? Why do we continue, you and me, to get round after round after round of bad economic news? You know the answer if you follow this blog, because our economy is contracting at its fastest pace ever as a percentage of GDP. Our economy is in free fall. So that's why I explained to you a while back. You will continue to hear more bad economic news. And the stock market don't care, as you can see today. Now, this is actually very interesting, and it also plays into something I said I believed would happen a while back. Now, let's talk about the European Central Bank, because it appears that, and this is a quote here, European Central Bank is talking about increasing its asset purchases. Now, I said a while back, the Fed will not be cutting back on asset purchases. They will be increasing asset purchases. Now, if in fact the European Central Bank goes ahead and increases asset purchases, the Fed will follow suit. Keep that in mind, because we got more to talk about as we move forward. I don't even know where to start here. I wrote so much stuff down. It's just incredible today. You know what? Maybe we will. Let's move on to the ultimate freak show. So number one, this was straight out of the mouth of Jay Powell. There is no decision yet on a taper. Now let me put this into a perspective for you. We already understand. No decision on taper. What the Fed will do first, mark my words, write this down, I don't know, have it tattooed to your forehead if you want. What they're going to do first is raise the federal funds rate. This does not mean the Fed is tapering. This does not mean the Fed is cutting back on asset purchases. Raising the federal funds rate just raises the overnight rate that is charged between institutions, okay, that lend cash to each other overnight. In my opinion, the market's going to love it. The market is going to love it. You're going to see, boom, stocks go higher. Now, with regard to a taper, let's look at what the market is saying about it. Okay, forget about what Greg Mannarino is saying. So if the market really believed, and I touched on this my last Marcus look ahead, that the Federal Reserve were actually going to taper, you would see a reflection of that immediately in the 10-year yield. I even said you might see the 10-year yield rise on speculation that the Fed was going to taper anytime soon. What happened today? Lower. What's been happening all week? Lower. Yeah, lower. So the market realizes, as I do, and as you do, that a taper is way off. Months, if not longer than that, and we will address it at that time. So the 10-year yield or the debt market is going, yeah, that's what it's doing. You understand? Yeah, the Fed ain't tapering. Federal funds rate, I do expect to see a nudge in that. And I expect to see it soon. And I expect to see the stock market rally, especially the financial sector, off of that. Okay, so you might want to start looking more at banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, might be good places to park some cash. Let us again move forward here. The dollar. The dollar did get a nudge higher today. The dollar's been stuck in a range for quite a long time, but the bond market is really where it's at. And the bond market is laughing, just like I laughed a moment ago with the taper thing. And it's funny, if you were to turn on, CNBC especially, I was watching them just a little while ago, and they're talking about, oh yeah, the taper is going to come sooner than later. It's going to come sooner than later. I told you I was going to lose it. Yeah, sure it is. And that's not what the bond market is saying. That's not what the ECB is even talking about. They're going to start increasing asset purchases. They're not going to do nothing over there. The Fed's going to buy more things. Trust me, they're not done. They're not done. Okay. Let us also move forward. How many times today did you hear Fed Chair Yellowstein say the word appropriate? I almost wanted to throw up. I actually said, if I hear him say the word appropriate one more time, I'm going to vomit. I had a barf bag here. Okay. Now, he admitted that the Federal Reserve has, in fact, overshot its inflation goal. Duh! Duh! By design. Really? You don't think this is by design? Of course it is. Their goal is to inflate, and they're not going to stop. Again, forget about it. Rates are going to stay suppressed from here until kingdom come. Again, whenever that might be. And the Fed is going to continue to buy assets, which is massively inflationary. They're going to run their inflation creation machine, issue debt, buy it back, issue debt, buy it back, and inflation is going to continue going higher. Oh yeah, but at least he admitted that they've exceeded their inflation goals. And he also, this was pretty epic, kind of talked around the topic with inflation being transitory, because it isn't. All it's doing is getting worse and worse, and he knows it too. So when he was being asked questions regarding transitory inflation, he was like, I thought about the he couldn't come up with a cohesive answer. Now, this is actually, it gets even better. So the thing was actually thrown a curveball, a couple of them actually today, which I was very impressed with. Someone had asked if he, the Fed chairperson, had conversations with elected officials on Fed policy. And his answer was, I cannot comment on conversations I have had with elected officials. Again, these people work for the Fed. They work for the Fed. You already know that. And then there was another question which I found interesting, addressing the debt ceiling. Now, Powell, said, it's very urgent that we address this issue with the debt ceiling. We must be able to borrow more money. Now, what I would have done, say if I were there questioning the Fed chairperson, I would have said, so Mr. Powell, can you explain to me, do we have a debt-based economic system or is it wealth-based? And could you, sir, please explain to all of us, because we're brain dead, how either one would work? Obviously, it's a debt-based system that demands that debt be borrowed into existence in perpetuity. The debt is never, ever meant to be paid back. I think most of you already know that. The debt is only made to be expanded on exponentially. You see, but no one's asking the real questions. And the Fed chair, again, he would be caught completely off guard if I were there, or you. Let us move forward. Now, this is what I believe is the creme de la creme. He was asked about his self-inflicted review. He's investigating himself, and he's investigating the other Fed presidents and other people in the Fed that, were just buying assets that the Fed happens to be buying. And his answer was this, and this is a typical answer of an inside trade or a person that is involved in insider trading. Quote, "It was just a coincidence." Do you believe that it was just a coincidence? You see, if you or I were to say, "Oh, don't even worry about that. It was just a coincidence," I definitely didn't mean to do that. No. Handcuffs, thrown in jail, tell it, but this will not, again, he was reviewing himself, okay? And his friends, his cohorts in the Fed. And do you believe for one split second that they're going to be held accountable? No. You see, they're the real government. They can do whatever they want to. But he did say that it was not appropriate, he used that word appropriate again, for Fed officials, Fed presidents, himself, the chairperson, or anyone at the Fed to be buying the same securities that the Fed is buying. Meanwhile, these creatures have been doing this for who knows how long. But it's just a coincidence. You know that, right? How many of you believe that it was just a coincidence? Do you believe it? Would you buy it? Let me ask you this. Should it end there? Should it be over there? Or do you believe that one of our good-for-nothing, low-life, loser, pathetic, vomitous, members of Congress, just one, should maybe, look into this a little bit? No, because it's just coincidence. It's coincidence. People, like I always tell you, it is impossible for you to make this stuff up. He is going to, with regard to that, look into changing rules by which Fed officials are able to trade on inside information. Can't make that up either. It's impossible to do. I dare you to do it. All right, people, look, a lot of stuff. I covered a lot of stuff here. I really didn't lose it too badly, I think. So I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, please. Thumbs up if you like this video. I want to hear from you. Do you think he should be held accountable, or do you believe it was just coincidence? How many of you really do believe it was a coincidence? Write down in the comments, no coincidence, I don't believe in coincidences, or, oh, it's absolutely a coincidence. Yeah. I want to hear from you. This guy loves you a lot. Please share the video. Get it out there. See you in the morning.